Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. How are you doing? So today I'm going to be talking about the a very important topic. How can you survive your PhD journey? So as you know, I'm on the verge of completion of my PhD work at one of the top business school in India, and I'll be submitting my thesis anytime. So I thought I'll be sharing my learning with you so that it can be beneficial for many people or many PhD aspirants. Now, so one request I have for all of you, if you like the content of my channel, please do consider liking and subscribing my channel, because by that way I'll be able to reach many more, people. So PhD is a daunting task. All of you know that. When you have enrolled for PhD, you have realized that it's a long game. It's a marathon. Now people who are doing PhD, so best wishes for you, and people who are considering to get enrolled into a PhD program. So all the best to you also. Okay. Now, there are a lot of things which I've heard before coming to PhD. Many people have told me that this is extremely difficult. You know, uh, I also know personally many people who have dropped out. All those things are correct. I'm not saying that it's a very easy task and you will have a great day. No, it's not the case. But if you follow certain strategy, if you know how to, walk through, it will not be of much issue actually. So the agenda for me, why I'm creating this video is, so I generally speak to many scholars, so across various institutions or universities, and what I found out is, so some of them are really good in managing their time, managing their progress, whereas I also find some other people who actually are struggling. Okay. And when I speak to new prospective students, I should not call them students, but let's say new prospective scholars who are thinking to apply for a PhD program, when they ask me various questions, most of them are asking the same thing: how difficult it is, whether they are still debating or deliberating on certain thoughts. For example, whether they will be able to sustain this program in the due course of time or not. So these are the questions I'm getting again and again. So I thought it's better if I can make a video and upload it in YouTube so that it can reach as many people as it can be. Okay. So as I was saying, PhD journey is not very smooth, right? Because it's just part of life. We all have challenges in life. There are very few people who might be, who are born with silver spoon in their mouth, if you can call them. Okay. So apart from that, most of us, we have to strive through our life, and we have to make our way out. The same thing happens in PhD also, right? So PhD is a long duration program. So in business schools, what happens in India, the programs runs for 4 to 5 years, sometimes 6 years. Okay. So it will take considerable amount of time and energy and effort from your end. So before coming to such program, before you decide to enroll yourself for such a program, please do consider these aspects. Okay. You have to think on multiple dimensions. For example, you have to take care of your personal goals. Finance can be one of the issue. Then you have to take care of your family. There are a lot of other stuffs which you need to consider. Okay. So that's one. Second, it's extremely, so if you do PhD from a good business school, all right, from a highly ranked institution, it will be really demanding. Okay. So generally what happens, in most of the top business schools in India, PhD is divided into some stages. So the first stage that you find is called the coursework stage, and this is extremely important, because in coursework what happens, they will teach you lots of methods courses, right? You'll be getting exposed to the existing research work which is happening in your domain, right? They will also be teaching you various concepts, theories, and all the nitty-gritty kind of things. Okay, so it's very very important. And for me personally, I enjoyed coursework like anything. I just loved it, right? And so in coursework also there are, generally you will have something which is known as seminar courses. So these seminar courses, some of the Indian business schools, they have introduced recently. It is very prevalent in US, but some of the top business schools in India, they have also introduced this thing. So what happens in seminar courses, these are again, these classes will generally run for 3 to 4 hours at a stretch. Okay. So these are very demanding, that's what I'm saying. And you have multiple subjects. Then at the end of the coursework, what happens, um, you have to pass an exam which is known as qualifying exam. All right, the nomenclature may change from institute to institute, but essentially at the end of your coursework is generally 1.5 to 2 years. All right, so after that you'll have this qualifying exam. Now you have to pass this qualifying exam. Once you pass this qualifying exam, you then graduate or move to the next stage of your journey, right? Now, so what happens, the coursework phase is actually the most demanding, because in many cases, generally what happens, the top faculty from across the world will come and teach you. At least in our cases it happened. So and most of the faculties, and I think this is also true among other business schools in India also, because I have spoken to many scholars from the top rank institutions in our country, and it's more or less same. So what happens, you'll be getting lots of assignments, and these assignments are not like MBA assignments. Okay, MBA में different होता है. यहाँ पे क्या होगा, you have to, they will give you something which is known as term paper. So apart from all your exams, evaluations, all those things are there, attendance, all those things are there. So sometimes the faculty will ask you to take classes. So in this seminar mode, what happens, it's a very intense discussion between your cohort and the faculty. So sometimes, in some cases, if the faculty allows, then other professors also might join your course. Okay, so it's a very intense discussion which happens in the classroom, and sometimes turn by turn the professor asks students or the scholars to take up the discussions forward. So for example, you will be leading one class of 3 hours, right? So it is that stressful. That's what I'm highlighting. But at the end of the course, for evaluation, most of the professors, you may have to write a term paper. What is a term paper? Term paper is a mini research paper, only for that subject. All right. So if you have 20 subjects, 20 term papers. You understand the difficulty? So it is that demanding. But there's an advantage to it. There's an advantage to it. If you have certain research problems in your mind, okay, so 20 is just a number. Okay, don't think that 20, they will give you 20 term papers. No, it depends on the number of subjects that you have, depending upon the professor, the way he or she chooses to evaluate. Okay, so it's just a general term, for the number of seminar courses that in general, what we have gone through. But it depends. Okay, so but majority of the professor, they will give you a term paper. At least it happened to us. Okay, now it sounds very challenging, it looks like very demanding, but it's extremely important also from the training perspective. So you'll be going through this experience firsthand, how to conceptualize a research paper. It's very difficult at the beginning if you are not pro at it. All right, then how to write it, how to condense your thought in such a way that the output will be a scientific paper from your end. Okay, so it takes a lot of effort, but once you are used to these things, then it becomes, I mean, it is still difficult, but the level of time, the amount of time and effort it requires will drastically come down. Okay, and also it will help you in the future. So if you can create a strong pipeline, you understand what happens over the next few years, 4, 5, 6, 7 years in the future. If you can create a very strong pipeline, you can produce the research papers one by one. All right, so it's extremely important from that perspective. Now, so I was speaking to some of the professors somewhere, and one of them had told me something which has stayed with me. All right, so that professor had told me that, Supratim, PhD is something which you cannot do it by force, brute force कि मुझे करना ही है. You may not get the best results after that. All right, there has to be an internal calling. You must be having something which is not the passion of research, love for research. Okay, you want to be in that place. All right, and you take pride and you get happiness or satisfaction by solving certain problems. Okay, so these are the internal calls which you should have, and if you have that, this journey becomes really exciting, because you are getting an opportunity to work on 10 to 12 problems at once, and if all these problems are connected to a bigger problem, you understand, if you can break down a bigger problem into multiple research questions, you can tackle one by one, you can produce multiple research papers also. So initially it will start with the thumb paper. Okay, so that's one. Second is, so once you are done with the qualifying exam, so qualifying exam people also takes a lot of stress, because qualifying exam is again, whatever you have learned for 2 years, you'll be evaluated upon. But that's the general norm. You have to prepare. So they will give you a lot of time. It's not like कि कल आके बोलेगा कि tomorrow there's the exam. No, it's not like that. They will give you a lot of time to prepare. Okay, it happens to everyone. So that's okay. Now, after that, the dissertation phase. Okay, so dissertation phase, again you'll be getting, so here you have to defend your proposal, dissertation proposal, the actual research paper that you work with. Okay, now again the format will vary from different business schools. So certain business schools are making some changes. For example, we have a process, and I've also heard that certain other say the other top business schools in our country, some of them are also will follow the same process in the near future. So what happens after your coursework is over and you are done with your comprehensive exam? Probably you might have to do something which is known as a Masters of Research. Okay, for close to a year or so. What happens in Masters of Research? You have to write a research paper on your own. So the concept is you get your hands dirty before going to an actual dissertation phase. So that's an opportunity to get your hands dirty and work on a real research paper. Okay, the advantage is you can get a complete research paper out. Okay, so your name will be there. Okay, so take it in a very positive way. Now after you have are done with these things, of course, generally Masters of Research, will the period will be 9 months to 12 months. It generally varies. In some places it is not there, in some places it is there. Okay, but I'll strongly suggest that you better go through it because it's really helpful. At least for me, it was extremely helpful. Now, once you're done with Masters of Research, again, you have to give a presentation. You have to defend your, so you have to defend your proposal, and after you're done with the research, you have to defend your research. So it's like a mini thesis, basically. Okay. And once you're done with that, you are allowed to do the dissertation work. Now, here's the trick. So many people have seen, they have changed topic. So for them, the Masters of Research topic was something different, and the dissertation topic was something different. All right. But then there are many people, who just take this the same problem forward. Probably they wanted to explore certain other dimensions of the same problem, or probably they want to explore new facets of the same problem. Okay, it's up to you. If you have a bigger scheme of things in your mind and you can break down into multiple verticals, that's of course that's always better, and you can make your mark in the research academia. In academic research in that segment. All right, because if you consistently keep on publishing in good journals on certain specific topics, so what happens over the period of time, let's say in the near future, all right, people will get to know about you. Okay, this person is an expert in this field because he or she writes paper in this area. Okay, so that's extremely useful. Now once you're done with the Masters of Research phase, I can sense that most of you are thinking that और कितने सारे phase है. So don't worry, after the Master of Research phase is over, then actually you graduate to the doctoral dissertation phase. Okay, so again you have to defend your proposal first, then it has to be approved. All those formal things are there, so you have to plan it. Planning is very very crucial. You have to do multiple things in parallel. ऐसा नहीं है कि Master of Research हो जाएगा फिर मैं देखूंगा. It's not like that. Okay, once you are towards the verge end of the Master of Research, all these things should be done parallelly. Once it is over, the other things you should initiate. Now आप initiate कैसे करोगे? How do you initiate? Unless and until you have the plan ready, all right, about the path, so you have to do it parallelly. So once your Master of Research is over, you do the dissertation proposal defense, you get the approval, and you start your own research. You will be getting, let's say, 1.5 years to 2 years of time to complete this work. Okay. Now, so towards the end of your dissertation, when your research is about to get over, you have to write a synopsis, a short version of the thesis. You have to present it in front of your doctoral advisory committee members or thesis advisory committee members, whatever you want to call it. So this is a committee member. So your advisor or supervisor will be there, and there will be other faculty members. So this is a kind of board which most of the institution gives this flexibility to the students or the scholars to constitute this board. Okay. So you can create your own doctoral advisory committee or thesis advisory committee if the institutes allow that. All right. So you have to give your synopsis presentation. Synopsis is the kind of mini thesis presentation you give. Okay. Now once that is done, once that is approved, then you go for the thesis submission. Right. If you have to make certain changes, if they suggest something else, you do that, and you submit your work. After the submission of the thesis, then of course you can look for your jobs, and then whenever defense happens, it happens. Okay, so this is the process. So you see, there are a lot of stages involved, lots and lots of stages involved, and lots of filtering processes are there. So I have seen many people getting dropped out, and because certain cases what happened, um, some individuals may not be able to take the pressure. Okay, so that's absolutely fine. It's not life and death. Okay, but if this is the call for you, I strongly suggest you just go through the rules wisely. You understand what you have to do, and then plan accordingly. Planning is the key. Planning is the key, and you have to have a passion for research. Otherwise, it's going to be really difficult. All right. But at the end of the day, what happens if you can do this in a really nice way at the end of the day when you're graduating? All right, then you have so many research ideas with you. Probably you will have so many working papers with you that can come out slowly in due course of time. So you can go to different conferences, you can present your work on a certain area, people will get to know about you, and slowly you can start publishing. Once you're in a job, obviously you will also be working on your databases of papers that you have, all right, which you have created from your PhD days. So you don't have to think about publication for the next few years. Okay, so this is what I wanted to share with you. If you have any questions or comments, please write below. I'll try to respond. All right, so I wish you all the very best, and thank you so much.